All right. What the heck happened to MMOs? Let's see what happened.
If you're anything like
the
me,
MMOs.
odds are you've been waiting quite some time now for a new MMO to come along that's totally engrossing. Something
True. I've been waiting a good while, man. Wildstar, Terra, Blade Soul all dropped. I didn't want to get into WoW because it was too long. Like, yeah.
that immediately hooks you because it's fun to play, the world is immersive, there are novel elements
There's
that
a
make
good-
the game
a lot
feel
of them
new
coming
and
out now.
exciting. On top of
I am
that,
still excited for Blue Protocol, and I'm even excited for not Tower Fantasy. This is the other one that has autoplay. Throne and Liberty. Because I
Blue Protocol looked interesting.
know what my Throne and Liberty streams are going to be. It's going to be me with the game on autoplay talking about how the game is bad. It's going to be fucking amazing. I'm not even...
Look at his homepage. What is this?
Let's see.
Oh. Damn. That's his recommended? Yo, ass, what you looking at, man?
Oh, shit. Uh-huh.
He got caught. 4K HD.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you then.
Damn, Asmon, you kind of got caught there, man.
all your friends are playing, it's the only thing you want to talk about and the only thing you care to do with your free time, and maybe even much of your not so free time as well. You know the feeling very well, actually.
Hey, bro, he was learning how to write calligraphy, okay, from all those streamers. That's what he was doing. He was just learning how to draw calligraphy.
To you before. You can actually look back and point to various games in your past that conjured up this exact situation. But it's been a while, maybe too long even. And you know, that's because there are never any new MMOs coming out, right? Like we just keep playing the same games over and over again. Well, what if I told you there are actually over 40 new MMOs and MMO lights being developed at this very moment? You'd
Well, I mean, which MMO? Like, I've been playing New World, which is like a semi-new game. Lost Ark. I mean, what other new game have I played? I guess that's actually probably about it.
probably say I'm full of it, but I'm not. Look at this list. Every single game here
I'm just reading these.
is confirmed to be in development right now. Many of them even claim to be releasing in the next 1 to 2 years. On one hand, you could actually say there's never been a better time to be an MMO fan.
That's
I'm
true.
fairly certain, actually, there has
he's
at least
right.
never been a time where we've had so many new MMOs in active development that we were aware
I would agree with them here. Is that, yes, this is the first, like, there are more MMOs coming out now than I think ever.
of. Even excluding all of the MMO lights, there are at least 30 of the more traditionally structured MMOs on the list, and there's almost certainly some games I missed or forgot. I mean, it is nuts. But at the same time, how many of these games are most of us going to be playing for more than a week or two?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, probably like one of them.
Yeah.
Hopefully one of them.
Yeah, like you'll try all the MMOs, and whichever one you like the most is the one you're going to be playing. Like that's how it's going to be, and you just hope those developers hope that, you know, you choose their game over all the other ones.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Probably not a lot of them, and boy, is that...
Yeah.
Well, that sure is something, and a bit disappointing, right? Like, from my perspective as a player, knowing full well many of the pitfalls most of these games will stumble into, the result of which being, yeah, I'll probably just play them for a few days, maybe a week or two, then I'll be done. It's really hard for that reason to get too excited from most of what we see here. I still follow it, and
I think that that's because you're experienced more. Because I bet there's people, like, do you remember people always would like look at Tower of Fantasy, that guy, right? I mean, people expected Tower of Fantasy to be the next big game, and that's what they're going to know life on. It's going to be huge on Twitch. They're going to be super popular. And I think that nowadays, there were probably people expecting that out of New World, out of Blue Protocol. They were expecting that out of Lost Ark. They were expecting that out of all these games. Who thought that? Well, I think with Lost Ark and New World, people absolutely did. Maybe not as much with Tower of Fantasy because it was like more of like a side game, but like, yeah, I think so.
interested in these games, and I will check them out, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I would be pleasantly surprised if even 1 or 2 of these games actually deliver on that feeling and experience I know myself and probably many of you out there are looking for. And that is not me saying that these are necessarily going to be bad games. I don't think that. I don't think that playing a game for just a couple of weeks is even a bad thing. In fact, it's almost preferable in a lot of cases. We swim in a never-ending glut of games. There are more new games released every year than I even have time to play. All of this added onto the backlog.
That's the way I see it. Is like there's so many games coming out. I never worry about this. Like I'm always going to have something to play. Like like they could not release another video game for a whole year and I would never run out of things to play.
Of games that I'll probably never find the time to get to either. And doing gaming stuff is my full-time job. People who have other full-time jobs, it's certainly even much worse. As I've talked about before, there's just not enough time to play all of the games, even all of the good games, let alone some of the mediocre and bad ones. So
yeah, it's like I haven't finished Final Fantasy 16. I haven't started Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't play Dragon's Dogma after that. Like
I still need to finish the Star Wars game. I started that before Diablo 4 came out. Now I gotta go back and finish that.
Said I would. Like there's just such a massive backlog.
Yeah, not every game needs to last forever. Most games won't. It's unrealistic. And I don't even really want that from most of my games, most of the games that I play. But man, when one comes along that really sinks its hooks in, it is something else. I love it. It's one of the...
I love no-lifing a new game. It's one of the best feelings to wake up and play a video game all day and then go to bed and think, man, I really did something. To feel like to spend all day playing a video game and not think that you wasted your time is like the best fucking feeling ever.
Bro, with Diablo, you use hardcore grind for like literally the whole entire day. And it's like, hell yeah, you got some good gear, got a freaking high level. Like, dude, I feel it freaking good.
The experiences that makes gaming as a hobby so very special.
Overwatch now though, I play that one. Yeah, I've wasted my time on that one. That's for sure. Every day I play Overwatch.
Barring that experience also doesn't simultaneously destroy every other aspect of my life. Happens on occasion. I've been there. Don't worry, guys. I get you. And, you know, from MMOs, our expectation level is certainly higher than just a few days to a week, especially with how big and expansive these games are supposed to be and how long they spend in development. We go in wanting a lot more than that, but the fact of the matter is most things won't deliver that, and even if most games could, you would only play but a fraction of them. So we are just looking for those pinnacle experiences in gaming to come along. So realistically, looking at that list that I showed you earlier, yes, I don't expect many of these games will keep me around for very long. Most of this list I will play for a few days to a week to check them out, to have my fun or not have fun, and then I'll...
See, I'm the kind of person, like, I will play the bad game for a month instead of a week. I will beat everything in the game, and then I will be like, gentlemen, it's time to talk about how I just wasted a month of my life.
Move on. Will any of them last longer than that? I don't know. I mean, even if I had to make a prediction, it is very hard to tell. You really just never know what game will come along at just the right time with just the right elements to be something.
See, that's the thing about like games, you like, even when they're making, like, you can't know for sure if a game's going to do well or not. Like, you just put it out and then it's either a lot of the community pick it up, a lot of people love it, or they don't. Like, you could put a lot of time and stuff and then it just flops. You know, it's just if it doesn't hit on all the core things that people want in a game, or that's like the majority of people like want to play.
Something that you sink your teeth into. That sort of guesswork is what investors do all day professionally, deciding where to place their money, where to put their bets on which game will become the next Minecraft, the next Fortnite, the next Call of Duty, you name it. It ain't easy to predict this kind of thing. If it was, we'd have a whole lot more millionaires. It's even harder with indie games. Like, very few people predicted the success of, say, Valheim or Vampire Survivors ahead of time, but when they launched and people got to play and word got around, it was immediately pretty clear that there was something special there. The safest bets, like if we're playing it safe, it's always going to be some of those big budget games, the AAA games. They, at the very least, tend to...
I feel like AAA games nowadays are like, if there's a AAA game, I always am like, Yeah, I get worried about that, man.
Have a better than average chance when it comes to many of the crowdfunded or indie MMOs on the list here. As we all know, though, AAA budget doesn't always mean AAA gameplay experience. It just
really
sets
doesn't.
the bar a little higher for
Yeah.
what
That's true.
we can expect from the visuals, from the animation quality, from the size.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is absolutely incredible. I love the graphics and the style here. This is amazing. But, like, I'm not going to play a game because, like, it has good visuals. Like, the visuals are always going to be sprinkles on a cupcake. They make
Yeah.
the cupcake look better, but they don't make it taste better.
Of the world, from the game.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good analogy, honestly. Because like, yeah, if the game looks good, but like, if the play is like completely terrible, then it's like I'm not going to continue playing it. So
Polish, all of those things, the bar is just a little higher. And for that reason, yes, it's got a better chance. And it's for that reason that I've got higher hopes for a lot of these unannounced MMOs from the bigger studios. We're talking Riot Games, League of Legends based MMO,
Yeah.
the MMO
I fucking hope the Riot game one does well, because they have like all like the lore abilities, stuff like that. They just have to somehow try and like hopefully revolutionize the MMO like genre, and not just like do like a class, like a normal cut and paste of like the ones we have now. So
from the Elder Scrolls Online studio, ZeniMax Online Studios. They're making a brand new MMO. We've got the Horizon themed MMO from Sony.
Oh, I
We've got
forgot all
Blizzard's
about that.
survival game, and then there's the Laugh If You Want, but yes, the Amazon Lord of the Rings MMO. Hey man,
I'm sure that'll be good.
if they can take parts of New World and
That's
craft that
going
into a
bad.
Lord of the Rings setting and just make it better, I mean, again, like with most of these games, I'll definitely check it out. That said,
Yeah, I mean, New World was good in a lot of ways. It wasn't good in every way, but, you know, it is what it is.
any of these could fail miserably. Again, because AAA budget doesn't mean AAA user end experience. It
Yeah.
could be garbage, and a few of these likely will fail miserably. Don't say Amazon. Okay, fine, you can say Amazon. They deserve it. But again, I would say that I have better than average expectations from these games
Sure.
compared to the slew of the crowdfunded and indie MMOs that
I
are
think that they've made New World a lot better over time. So I actually do have relatively high expectations for the Lord of the Rings MMO, but we'll just have to wait and see.
okay, that's what I was gonna say. Like, isn't the New World one is better now that it came out? Like, I already have the game, but I'm not gonna go back and play it. But I mean, it was fun when it first came out for that up until like level cap. So if they made it better, then that's good. So if they can just take everything that they failed with on New World and then make the Lord of the Rings one, because honestly, I think Lord of the Rings will have more appeal to more people since it's such like a widely known franchise. So if they can just take everything that they learned from this one and apply it to Lord of the Rings, it'd probably be solid.
on the list. I will say I do also have some hopes for a lot
I'm
of
so excited about this game, by the way. This is like, I think, PAX Day. I'm so fucking excited for this. This looks amazing.
these MMO lights. Some of them I think are quite promising. Near the top would be Dune Awakening. I love Warframe enough to be very interested in what they do with Soulframe. And I also think Nightingale seems pretty darn promising. That one's very narrowly made this list of what we call an MMO. But anyways, just
Yeah, I
about
don't know
every
about that.
MMO light actually
play it,
that
but
you
I'm not
see
really that
here,
excited.
I am interested in playing for at least a little while. When it comes to that main list, though, of those confirmed, more what we would consider traditional MMOs, ones that kind of live up to the general infrastructure and what we think of as a classic MMORPG
Yeah.
like World of Warcraft and everything in that vein, that main list of 30 or so games, I mean, that is a massive grab bag. It's really hard to say. I do expect a majority of them will fall into the couple of weeks tops category. That's what I would expect. With maybe
Absolutely, they will. Absolutely. Many of these games are going to turn into being dog shit ass garbage.
But that's the sad truth about a lot of MMOs. Like, everyone will play it in the beginning, and then after like a week, that the drop off, it just goes down, and then people start, be like, oh dude, this game's so bad, whatever, all the posts and everything. But that's just like the sad truth that's how it is with most games nowadays. You just hope that that's not one of yours when you're making the game as a developer.
And that's just how it is. Listen, you take 100 shots, maybe you'll hit a few. And that's all we hope. If the game is bad, that's still content. It's okay if the game is bad.
Be a few
true.
of them breaking through beyond that, but I don't have a ton of long-term hope for most of these, unfortunately enough to say. Yes, even the online MMO fanboy poster child that is Ashes of Creation, even that, I mean, I hope it's good, but I don't know. I'm really not placing my bets as of yet that it's going to be like a savior of the genre. It will be probably a niche popular game for at least a few months for that crowd. 1, 2, 5 years down the road, is it?
I think if the graphics looked a little bit better for Ashes, then it could be good. Like, I look at it and I love all the ideas that they have for Ashes. Like, they literally have like every single MMO that I grew up with like Silk Road, like trading, carrying the caravans, getting attacked, you know, like the skill tree is crazy, the freaking pets, changing the node system and stuff. Like, all that stuff is awesome, but then like the character, how it like moves and everything, I feel like could just be, it just looks kind of clunky. And like the character like model stuff, it just looks, by the time it comes out, I feel like it's gonna look outdated, right? It's gonna be looking like, you know, like the WoW type like thing where it's like, I guess it could still work, like WoW's still top tier game, but it's not gonna like look how normal, you know, quality visuals
Going to maintain a
game looks
sizable
like
play
now.
rates? Who knows? But who knows with most of this stuff?
It's so far down the line, I don't think you can really make a decision for it yet.
It is all just guesswork. But I mean, I hope they're all good. I hope every game's good. Every game on this list. Surprise me, please. All be amazing, pinnacle MMO experiences.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but I would
It would
love
be
it.
nice
So,
if it did.
how do we get here? Like, seriously, we got a list of 40 MMOs, a good chunk of which launching in the next 1 to 2 years, and many of these games took, you know, anywhere from 5 to 7 to, like I said, over 10 years to develop, and I'm not expecting a vast majority of them to last me more than a couple of weeks of playtime. Well, there's a lot of reasons and a lot of ways and explanations to how we got there. I'm sure you've seen the slew of YouTube video essays talking about why gaming today sucks.
Yeah, why all video games are bad except for the ones that came out 20 years ago. Why gaming is bad, why battle passes ruined gaming, why
Yeah, I mean, that's the monetization. Everybody just wants freaking money 24/7 now. They don't care about the consumer.
microtransactions ruined gaming, why AAA games ruined gaming, why gaming is dead, why gaming is dying, why gaming is falling off, why do I not like gaming anymore? Oh yeah, we've watched every single one. Absolutely.
Videos that basically more or less boil down to, hey, things were kind of better when I was a child and had fewer responsibilities. Well, yeah,
true.
no duh. When it comes to this particular topic of gaming sucks today, I am not a full-blown doomer on
I'm not either. I think games are great now. I think gaming now
I
is
think they
better
look way
than it
better.
ever has been. I'll say it. I'll just fucking say it. I think gaming right now is better than it has ever been before. And you know what? I'll go even farther. It's not even close.
this discussion.
I think so too. I think the games nowadays are a lot more, you know, instead of just being super specific to one certain genre, they're adding everything to like all the other types of ones. The graphics, the visuals, even like some of the stories on the good ones are amazing. So yeah, I think the newer ones now are way better than the old school. Like old school is always going to have like the nostalgia factor and they like paved the way, but these ones are definitely way better.
Points. I think gaming is still amazing, and in fact, in many ways, a lot better than it's ever been.
And then just wait till we get like the VR stuff. Oh my god! Once that like down the road, 10 years, like has like top tier quality stuff, like that's gonna be even the next freaking thing.
Quality and the expansiveness of so many games. There's a lot of high quality games coming on every single year, and it's a real exciting time to play and be a fan of this hobby. And as I mentioned earlier, there are way too many good games that you just don't have time to play. There are so many games that people rave about, that people are obsessed with, that people play for years and years on end, that I've barely or never touched, and likely I know I will eventually go to the grave never touching a lot of these amazing games.
Yeah.
So we can't say that gaming sucks because it's just an expanding library.
Oh, you think gaming sucks? Have you played every game? No? Okay, well then who cares what you have to say? Yeah, okay, so you don't really know then. Okay, so yeah, you haven't played, have you played every single game that's ever come out? No? Okay, I didn't think so. All right.
Except for the ones that get shut
Name
down.
them.
Damn, at that point now, every time somebody says, I'm gonna be like, yo, have you played everyone? Oh, so how do you know all of them suck, dude? Like, what the fuck?
It's another
games.
video, right? I would say that in general, gaming is in a really good spot. But yes,
Yeah,
in a
it
lot
is.
of ways, many parts of it do suck. Or at the least, gaming and how we approach gaming and the games industry, it's quite different than how it was when we were weak kinders. Games in general are different. If I were to try to distill it into
This is one of the games, like, I can't believe that they did this. The main selling point of this game is that it doesn't have a map.
So you
I'm
just
not
get
kidding.
lost?
to try to distill it into like one sentiment, I would say that
ridiculous.
games used to feel like games developed primarily for the sake of delivering an experience to the player, which they would sell you. Yes, this was always a business. Typically, there would be a single upfront cost. Maybe later they would sell expansions. So yes, you had to pay, of course, but the game still felt like it came first for a long time, for much of my childhood and my adolescence, and even when I was a young adult. Many games today feel a lot more like they're just vehicles for monetization, with the hope being
He's definitely right about this. He totally is. I mean, there's a lot of indie games that don't follow this paradigm, but I think nowadays, and another big reason why that's the case, is that people aren't really willing to pay. Like, people don't want to buy a full price game nowadays. People want to play a free to play game, and those are the ones that are popular. It's because it's easier to play. It's like, for example, how many of you guys played the that game on like Flash? It was like green, where you move the helicopter through like a cave in like high school or middle school. How many of you guys played that game? Right. Yep. Everybody. Yep. Everybody fucking played it. Of course, right? And why? Because it was fucking free. Free to play games
See
are
how far you can make it?
massively popular. And that's a big reason too. It's because
Bro, dude, the mini clip games in like high school, bro, you used to go on there to the website, just play all the random ass little indie games. Bro, that shit was so fun.
people are even more hesitant to spend like
Pocket
60,
Tanks.
70, $50 on a game nowadays. I think it's that too.
for like the MMO and live service
Whenever you can get
genres
one
that
for
you will
free.
stick around and keep playing and paying more over time.
Yeah.
Now, sure, they still need to make a game that you enjoy that
Sure.
keeps you around playing in order to monetize you further. But monetization being at the forefront of the entire endeavor, I think has left a lot of modern games feeling that very way. Like it permeates into the design and
Well, there's an element of it that takes the immersion away, because like you're playing a video game, but then you're constantly reminded that you're playing a video game. It's kind of weird. So like you're going through something and then you have a pop-up for the store. Then you have an advertisement for, you know, a battle pass, or you have some sort of website you want to go to,
That's
or
fair.
something like that, right? You can't just play the game and they leave you alone. There's got to be some sort of call to action or something like that in the game that constantly reminds you that like you're playing a video game.
leads into the user experience. And this isn't some anti-business, anti-profit rant either. People got to get paid. It's how these things get made in the first
Yeah,
place,
sure. It's
even
just how
back
it
in the
is.
day. But I
just the
will
way it
say
is.
that it did feel in the past like the games were being made primarily by people who loved gaming and wanted to craft their own unique experiences for other people who love gaming to enjoy.
Oh,
Now-
this is absolutely true. And like now, the people that love gaming are still making the games, but they have Bobby.
Fucking Bobby, dude.
Sitting there telling them, he's like, listen, this game's got to be done in 16 days. They're like, well, we need 2 weeks, or sorry, we need 2 months. Okay, well, 16 days or you're fired. And then guess what happens? The game comes out and there's bugs, or shit's not ready. That's
Who's Bobby? The Activision CEO. Mr. Bobby Kotick.
what happens. It's because you know, these gaming studios are massively publicly traded companies, and they just have to get these games out on
You
certain
have to make
times.
the money.
I'll read a few comments here. Wrong. I mean, lots of games were shut out without any quality. Well, yeah, of course. And I think that's actually true too. The games people would pay $6 for these days instead pay $20 for first whenever it's an alpha. Yeah, maybe. But like, yeah, I do also want to say that there are so many games nowadays that like you might not remember, or like back like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that like whenever they came out, they were fucking garbage. Like they were so bad. And like you never think about them anymore because they were just the, you know, like Super Nintendo had how many games come out for it? And you can probably name 50. Well, what about that other 150? I think it's like 200.
Yeah, but that's like you never really be playing all of them. I don't know. Like you only pick the ones that you thought you were gonna enjoy playing. Like I don't know. I know. Be growing up, I played a lot of like the RTS games, like Lord of the Rings, like Middle Earth, like StarCraft. Some of the, and then all for like the GameCube and stuff. I only bought like the whatever, like the Mario parties and stuff like that. I wouldn't buy the other ones, but yeah, they're probably still terrible games.
Games or something like that.
Now, though, because the industry is so massive, it's like the biggest entertainment industry, bar none, right? It feels like most of the people involved in the endeavor of making games are just here for the buck. And no, I'm not talking about the developers at all. It's well known, in fact, game dev pays far below what most of these people could make if they went into other industries. But whatever their passion is for the hobby and for the craft of making games, it does seem like it gets pushed to the wayside when the higher-ups, the ones paying the bills, chime in to what sort of systems the game needs to have, what methods they need to employ to keep people playing.
Yeah, that's true.
Hiring psychologists to develop these properly paced out intermittent reward schedules to keep us on that dopamine drip, to keep us playing, to keep us swiping the card. Boy, lots of fun, yeah? The systems
yeah, who likes getting milked? Who wants to get milked? Oh boy.
games need to have, the methods they use to keep us playing, and how they're going to cash in on all of that. It is a big part of the reason, and like I said, it really bleeds into the experience of the game and takes away from the game itself. It is why when something like Elden Ring comes along, it feels like a breath of fresh air for so many people. I'll just speak for myself. It felt like I was stepping back in time. I just got a game. The game was great.
Yeah, he's totally right. Imagine this. You buy the game, and then you go to the start screen, and it's either start game or load game. Settings or quit. There's no,
There's no buy battle pass here, buy this, dude. Hey, are you sure you don't want to buy this this helmet for $50, dude?
17 different pop-ups. There's not, 3 different incentive programs.
Yeah.
That's it. You just play the fucking game, and that's it. Yeah, there's no reminder that you didn't buy your your weekly battle pass. Oh god. Now I felt the same way with Halls of Torment. Felt the same way with I think obviously Elden Ring is a good example. I'm sure I can probably think of other ones, but just on the first two I can think of are that. Final Fantasy 16, another example.
I played the game. Damn, what year is it? What year did Elden Ring come out? 2000? Of course, there's a lot of things that made Elden Ring great. There are plenty of YouTube video essays about that very topic. All of those things combined with the simplicity of the transaction. I give you money, you give me good game. I enjoy good game and have fun. Nice doing business with you. No cash shop, no further monetization, no season pass, none of that stuff. It's just the game. The game's there. The UI isn't intrusive trying to get me to go to the shop. I'm not logging in and seeing 17 pop-ups that show me the recent activities that I can, some of which pay money for. Just a game that I hop in and I play. And all of that combined with Elden Ring being a good game, oh man, it was definitely a big part of, at least again speaking personally, what made the experience of playing Elden Ring feel so refreshing against the sea of modern game design. Beyond games being different, the internet's different as well.
Yeah, because it was a full-on fleshed out game. There was no terrible bugs and stuff like that. I mean, I wish the co-op was a little bit better in Elden Ring, but that's the only downside to that when it first came out. Trying to join on friends parties was kind of scuffed, but and that it was flawless.
Well, for one,
I don't really mind if they have modern game design with battle pass stuff. As long as the core gameplay is fun, I'm happy. But I do think that there is a level of immersion that's lost whenever the game becomes a canvas for advertisements.
It didn't actually really exist when I first started gaming. So if I wanted news or info on the latest NES game, I had to typically get that from a magazine.
Nintendo Power. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you want to find out, you know, about Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past? Nintendo Power.
In most cases. Eventually, yeah, we got home internet, but gaming sites were a rare commodity. Usually what we were talking about were like fan pages. I made pages on Angel Fire for like Warcraft 3, or going to forums where people would just talk about the games that they enjoyed. But today, with the constant internet access, with our phones in our pockets, how you learn about games, how you follow updates, how you get news, the guides, the tips, the full playthroughs on YouTube, learning about data mined information and leaks from YouTube videos, streamers who are speed rushing and beating the game in the first day for the entire world to see. The arc of first hearing about a game to when you actually sit down and play the game, it is way, way different now than it was, say, back when I was a kid and I walked down to my friend's house and he told me about this new game called EverQuest that his mom just...
Yeah, it's like nowadays what you do is you go and you... First thing is you have to look up the game, and then you see an advertisement for it on the existing launcher for the game.
And then you look at some gameplay videos on YouTube, maybe load it up on Twitch, see what it's looking like, you know. Yeah, just
games publisher, and then you click on that advertisement, and then you see there is a 3 different levels of purchase plans for
I liked WildStar. I played that game a lot, and then it died, sadly. It was a fun one.
the game. There's the normal edition, the hero edition, and the epic edition. You decide which edition you want to buy. One of them comes with a 3-day early access. Obviously, all of your friends are getting early access, so then you're going to buy the early access version too. Then after that, you buy that, and then you have the beta. Maybe you don't have time to play the beta, so you look up, 17 different YouTubers who it's their job to actually provide you with information that will tell you exactly the best build and the best class to play during the beta.
Yeah.
And then you're going to use that information leading up to the launch of the game. Obviously, leading up to that launch of the game, you're going to be looking up guides, making sure that you play the right build, that you play the right spec, what talent points to use, what talent points not to use, what stats you want to have, what stats you don't want to use, like the main best abilities, the legendaries that empower those abilities. And then after all,
I mean, this is the sad truth. Like, I wish I could get away from wanting to have the best stuff. That's also why I like when a new game full on comes out and there's no guides and stuff yet. It's you're playing it, so it's everyone's on the same page, and it's nobody knows what the best thing is, because then once it starts getting to the end game thing, you're all right, now I need a min-max. All right, who's got the guides out there?
All of that. Then of course you have to make sure that you download the new drivers for your game. You have to make sure that you get everything set up for it.
Yeah.
Turn on a stream of another person playing the game at the same time, so maybe you can ask them questions about the game that just came out to see if they're able to do it. And then after you do all that, you have to pre-download the game, which you have to go to the launcher, and then you have another optional menu item to upgrade your purchase of your copy to the hero.
Yeah. Wow, you download 100 add-ons, are all across your screen for you to then just start a raid and then get trolled by a tiny unicorn and have your character deleted. Yeah, dude, all those 100 add-ons couldn't save you from that one.
Or potentially the legendary edition that comes with a free t-shirt that never shows up. And then finally the game comes out, and of course the servers are down, so you're not able to play it even though you bought early access, and that's for the first 2 days. Then finally, whenever you log into the game, at this point all the hardcore players who had priority access because they were streamers were able to get to the max level, and they've already beaten the game by now. They're already past the game's dead now. But you're still going to try to catch up and get to where they're at. So now you're watching their videos and you're looking up exactly the best quests to do, the best place to farm for mobs, the best way to level your character, and the best way to just gear up, and all the right pieces of gear to use. And then finally, at that point, you're able to log on and you can finally actually play the game.
Yeah.
Excited? Who's excited? Oh yeah, and it sucks.
just bought him for his birthday, and then I sat down for 8 hours watching him play and enjoyed every minute. The way we consume gaming as a hobby, the way we follow gaming as a hobby is way different. It's way more tuned in, and is way more oversaturated. And I think that also plays a big role to the enjoyment that we get the moment we actually get to sit down and finally play the game. But just as, if not even in many ways more important, in my opinion, is the fact that yes, games are different. The games industry is different. Yes, the presence of the internet is different. But lastly, we're different. The way that we approach games, the way we consume games, and what we expect from games today compared to when we were younger is just vastly different in most every measure. The frequency, the intensity, the speed. We're all also just better at games today than we were.
Want to try play the game in the Alpha 2? Gotta get rid of the pre-ordering? Though, I mean, I don't know. How much is it? Like $100 or something? So, it's kind of a lot for a game that's not going to come out for like 2 years.
In the past, which you would hope.
It'd be fun to play it, but it's like not kind of, you know, I'd rather like wait and see like how the game is before spend money on it and spend a lot of time in it.
Obviously, for those of us who have racked
But yeah, I am excited for Ashes of Creation to come out, and hopefully it's good.
up like decades of experience in the hobby. As we learned not too long ago with the release of Classic WoW, World of Warcraft wasn't a terribly difficult game. It's just that at the time when we started playing in 2004, everything sucked.
We were fucking stupid. We had bad internet and bad computers. Yeah, for sure.
Our computers sucked and struggled to maintain a good frame rate, causing us to always stand in the fire. The internet sucked, causing frequent lag spikes and dropped connections. And yes, we sucked. We were just bad at playing MMOs and probably bad at playing games in general. And for today, all of that has improved. The games run better, well, for the most part, barring any bad PC ports. Internet speeds are way better, so we've got steady connections more of the time. And we also have nearly 20 more years time playing games than we did when we first booted up vanilla World of Warcraft. With time comes experience. With that experience comes a loss of novelty. As far as I'm concerned, lack of novelty is one of the primary driving factors to why so many people can say that gaming isn't fun anymore compared to when it was when they were younger. The more games you play, the more you see.
I think it should be designed for new players to have a good time, not need to min-max. Yeah. That is true. Like endgame, I guess, is all about min-maxing, but in the beginning, yeah, definitely it shouldn't be about that.
The more you see, the less novel new game experiences
not new anymore.
are. Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself sitting down and playing a game for the first time and thinking, feels like I've already played this? It's partially true because so many games borrow ideas, structure, gameplay, systems, and features from one another that many times
L2 servers will run. I'll tell officially. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And they're not going to delete your character? Or all that stuff gets deleted, it just runs up until you can just play all the updates till then. See, I'm not a huge fan of like that, depending on how much content they give, because then people just play the whole alpha and then they know exactly what to do when the game comes out, and then now it's like, you know, that's like the problem of everybody just being super far ahead.
They all start to bleed together. And when things aren't novel, it is very hard to keep you engaged and to hold your attention. We crave variety and
So I'd rather play it and then enjoy it, because if I play an MMO in alpha, then I'm gonna pretty much have to be redoing. Like Diablo 4, I was kind of bored playing over the same content I already did, so I know in that game for alpha I'm be playing over the same content I already did, and then it's just like, you know, not gonna be fun or enjoyable.
Novelty just in general, but this also applies to our hobbies and gaming. And both of these things are massive drivers in the motivation and desire to continue to pursue something, to, in this case, continue playing a game, to stay engaged and spend more time with it. And the fact is, the more experience you have, the more games you've played, the harder and harder it becomes for new games to surprise you. Because
I think that's why games like Vampire Survivors were such viral hits. It's because something like that, people weren't used to a game like that. I'm not saying it never existed before then, but like the mainstream public wasn't really used to a game like that. And because of that, people saw the game and they were like, wow, this is fucking insane. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is totally new. I haven't played this before, and it's novel. Now there's like 15 other Vampire Survivors games that have come out, things that iterate on the idea like Halls of Torment. So like, yes, it's still fun, but the idea has been explored.
Yes, in most cases, you have seen it all before. Even if you sit down and a brand new one of the games on this list, a brand new MMO just launches, you sit down for the first time, you're probably going to get some serious deja vu. You're going to think, oh boy, I've already done this fetch quest. I've already spoke to this NPC. I've already gone through this training. I've already fought this boss. You haven't technically, but you may as well have, because it's all so similar enough to one another to might as well be the same. And it is really with that in mind and the key importance the novelty plays into getting enjoyment out of gaming. It is because of that I try to remember some newly released game that feels super old hat to me is going to be some kid's first time with the genre, first time with the game type, first time with features and mechanics. That will leave
there's somebody playing WoW nowadays that just started that are loving it, and Dragonflight's the first expansion.
Lasting impression on that person. And I find it helpful when it comes to trying to enjoy games and trying to continue to enjoy the hobby after so many years. Doubly so, being that this has been my career, following games and playing games for coming up on 13 years now. I've had here on YouTube.
Wow.
I've spent a lot of time playing games. I've spent a lot of time talking about games, a lot of time covering games to try to really continue to enjoy it after all this time. Even if everything isn't entirely novel, it can be tough, but I think mindset does play a big role.
I think it does too. There's a lot of people that just have a very negative mindset going into games, and I think that's what causes people to be so unhappy about them, is that they go into the game and they don't like that they expect that they will not enjoy it. My best advice is that if you don't think you're going to like a game, don't play it.
Yeah, because it's the same with anything. If you go into some place have a bad attitude, it's like, don't go to a game thinking you're gonna hate it. Like, what the heck? This just wasted your money right there.
Because almost every time, like I've seen, people want to convince themselves that they were right more than wanting to actually have like an objective view of things, right? So if you don't think you're gonna like a game, don't play it. I've never gone and played a game, except for Diablo Immortal. I didn't think I'd really like that one very much. But overall, I never play games that I feel like I'm just not going to like this game.
Yeah, that's the thing with me. Like, I will not play a game that I don't think it's fun. So like, oh, dude, yeah, play this Dark Souls game, man. Yo, yeah, play Sekiro. It's gotta be great. It's like, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have fun playing those games. So I'm not gonna just play it to play, because I know I'm gonna hate it like 5 minutes into it, you know.
These upcoming MMOs, the games on the list that we talked about here today, I'll obviously still hope that the developers themselves, the ones in charge of creating these games, do manage to craft something.
I hope the right MMO would be good. I think it could probably live longer because it has such a big like backing of like studios and stuff like that. But we'll just have to see what kind of things it implements.
I really
Create
thought
an
Wulong was
engaging,
gonna be awesome.
immersive, and a novel enough experience that even someone as jaded
Depends on the
old
graphics.
gamer as myself can be entertained with for at least some time. Although I still, of course, hope that every once in a while we get a game that comes along that does really craft a super unique experience that rekindles some of that flame and has us sort of go back to the first time we experienced whatever your equivalent to World of Warcraft is to me. And I also want to say, if you are struggling with finding games that keep you engaged and games that you're interested in, and you're not wanting to go back to games that you've already played, look no further than games that other people rave about. I think that a lot of times...
there's so many games out there. Like, I think Dragon's Dogma is a great example for me, or Breath of the Wild. I never played Breath of the Wild. I never played Dragon's Dogma. So I can just go back and play those two games.
We look on the horizon to what games that haven't been released that are upcoming, and we put a lot of hope in those, while neglecting a lot of these super popular games with huge fan bases, games that are critically acclaimed, games that are cult classics. There's a lot of games out there, I know for myself, that I've yet to touch that people rave about, and I'm sure you're the same way too in the MMO genre and in other genres. And if you're having a hard time finding motivation and finding excitement in gaming, try checking those games out. Try checking those older games that a lot of people... you've heard people speak about over the years that you just never got around to playing. That's probably my best advice for you, but also for myself. That said, we keep our fingers crossed and we hope for the best for the new stuff on the horizon. and we'll see which games on this list deliver. That does it for me today. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.
So every game is dying. MMOs are dead. Gaming sucks. That's about it. And yeah.
There'll be one good MMO that comes out. Hopefully everybody, will play one of those. Oh, dude, Guild Wars 2. I remember playing that. Then that died super fast.
That's pretty much where we're at, guys. Sorry to say, but that's life nowadays. There it is. Yeah, go touch grass. Like, gaming nowadays is good. It's definitely different, and I think that there is a different vibe with games, and it's really nice how, like, look, Halls of Torment. Like, I want to play the game, and you know what I do? I just go and immediately
Get into it.
I play the game.
No cash
That's
shop?
it. Now
Oh
I'm
my
playing
god.
the game. There's no bullshit. There's no advertisements. There's no 8 different load screens with 10 different bonuses on it. You just log in and you play the game. And I think that there is something that is definitely forgotten in the simplicity of that a lot of people do absolutely appreciate. And I do hope that more games start using that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that, like, Final Fantasy players, for example, appreciate the fact that the shop for the game isn't in the store. Or, sorry, isn't in the game. Like, you're able to... There is a shop for Final Fantasy, but you're not able to access it from the game.
Oh, so it's like online? Okay,
So,
that's
yeah,
kind
I
of
think that's
interesting.
what makes it unique and everything. This is a good video. I'm going to link it to you guys. Give it a like. This is a very good one. I like this one a lot. Especially with how many new MMOs are coming out. It's pretty fucking crazy, man. 5 minutes of bull.
We are getting a lot of new MMOs coming out, so I mean, I'm excited. Hopefully a lot of them will, be good, or at least one of them will be good that everybody wants to play. Hopefully sooner rather than later. What, like 2 years for Riot and Ashes, probably? Yeah, probably somewhere around there.
Bullshit to log on, just play Lost Ark. Yeah, it's like first you have to wait for the root kit to load in, then you have to log into the game, then you have to log into your character. It's like, oh my fucking god. How is this going to take so long? Yeah, I know all too well. Let's see here.
Ashes has to be good. It's a passion project for $40 million. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to be good, though, but... I hope that it can be good. It has all the right, literally every aspect or avenue that you wanted in like an MMO is like put into that game with all the different things you can do. So, I mean, I hope it's good, but we'll have to see with, how the story, how the gameplay feels, all that type of stuff. Yeah, but that's happening at MMOs. At least it's looking good in the near future. Near future, we'll have some good MMOs. I believe.